Pasadena, Congresswoman Judy Chu. Judy Chu was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in July of 2009.
Unfortunately.
She represents the 27th Congressional District, which includes Pasadena and the West San Gabriel Valley.
She took over for Hilda. Hilda Solis. Oh! Yeah. That's scary. It's not a safe space anymore.
She serves on the powerful House Ways and Means Committee,
unfortunately,
which has jurisdiction over legislation pertaining to taxes, revenue, Social Security, and Medicare. In that committee, Representative Chu is a member of the subcommittees on Health and Human Resources, giving her oversight over health care reform and crucial safety net programs. She also serves on the House Small Business Committee, which has oversight of the Small Business Administration, and is a member of the Subcommittee on Economic Growth, Tax, and Capital Access.
Oh, that's funny.
She was first elected to the Board of Education for Garvey School District in 1985.
Unfortunately.
From there, she was elected to the Monterey Park City Council, where she served as mayor for 3 terms. She was then elected to the California State Assembly, and then California's elected tax board, known as the State Board of Equalization.
Right.
In 2009, she became the first Chinese-American woman elected to Congress in history. And on a personal note, it is my honor to introduce Representative Chu because she is a staunch fighter for the marginalized, for the oppressed, for the underdog. And she does that every single day.
What about me?
She makes her voice known, and she represents me and this district well. So without further ado, Congresswoman Judy Chu.
Boo. Yeah. Boo. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Juliana. Thank you so much for that introduction, and also thank you for letting us have this seminar here, right here at All Saints Church, my favorite location to have. Well, thank you all for coming to this tax teaching. Tax day is coming up, and most Americans starting to file their taxes are wondering
I already finished mine.
Tax law means for them. I've been hearing from constituents and families from across the San Gabriel Valley who told me that they're filled with confusion and uncertainty when attempting to plan their family's finances.
Really?
Some can't even predict what their tax burden is going to be anymore. And so, Congressmember Lucille Royal Allard and I decided to team up and host this tax teach-in today so that you can understand what this law means for you and for our entire region. We have these incredible panelists, too, who are such experts in various aspects of tax law. And so we are very, very honored to have them here today. And let me just say that ours is just one of many tax teach-ins that our colleagues are hosting in congressional districts across the country so that taxpayers can understand just what this bill means for them. Now, both Democrats and Republicans have agreed that something has to be done to simplify our tax system.
Yep.
Our current tax code is far too complex,
riddled with unnecessary loopholes that allows them to avoid paying their fair share, and unfair to
No matter how much you make.
businesses trying to compete in
How about you, Judy? Do you pay your fair share?
While both Democrats and Republicans agree that tax reform was needed, we have very different views about what should be done about it. As a result, Republicans shut Democrats totally out of the discussion on the bill.
Just like you did on Obamacare?
I'm a member of the Ways and Means Committee, which is the House of Representatives Tax Writing Committee for the federal government.
Oh, please get rid of it.
Now, I know that the last time we had major tax reform was in 1986.
How do you remember that? You
And
weren't
at
even
that
there.
time, there were 2 years of hearings with the experts and a thorough vetting of the bill itself. This time, there were no hearings. The bill was written in a back room and unveiled hours before the markup on the bill itself in front of our committee.
Just like
In
Obamacare.
fact, we, the Democratic members of the Ways and Means Committee, introduced many amendments to make the bill better. Every single amendment that we introduced was rejected.
Good.
And that is why we call this
the Republican tax scam bill. It was supposed to be the biggest tax reform bill in history, simultaneously simplifying our tax code while giving raises to every family.
It did.
But what passed does neither. It actually is one of the biggest tax windfalls in history for corporations and the wealthiest few.
Sure.
83% of its benefits go to the top 1%.
That's not true.
The
No.
tax rate for corporations is lowered by a staggering amount.
Yes.
From 35 to 21%. And this is at a time of record corporate profits. The income tax for the wealthiest people in the country is lower. So they pay less taxes. It's lowered from 39.6 to 37%.
Which is good.
Republicans rationalize doing this because they say the top 1% will pass down the wealth that they gain to the rest of the 99%.
It's already happening.
New jobs.
New jobs.
You may have heard of this. It's called trickle down.
It's more like a waterfall, actually.
My history shows that trickle down is a fantasy.
I should be.
In 2001 and 2003, Congress passed trillions of dollars in unpaid for tax cuts that disproportionately benefited the richest families in this country. President Bush told the American people those tax cuts for the rich were paid for themselves, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it did.
Our economy became saddled with trillions of dollars in debt
Now they care
that
about
dragged down economic growth and job creation.
Now they care about the debt.
The worst
Now they do.
consequence
But not
of
under
all
Obama,
this
who doubled
is
it.
that all these tax rates for the top 1% cost an enormous amount.
Oh.
And that is why it creates a huge deficit in our federal budget of $2.3 trillion. And who will pay for this? It's our children and our grandchildren who will face the inevitable budget cuts, such as the $25 billion cut to Medicare. Now, President Trump has claimed that the tax bill is a success.
Yes.
Because a few people are getting one-time bonuses.
I agree.
But a closer look at the numbers show what's really going on. First, these bonuses are very limited. Some are only given to those who worked at the job for 20 years or more, which means most of the country isn't getting the money. Second, a bonus is not a raise, which is what workers need. Additionally, the very modest provisions that were included to benefit working families, like the child tax credit, are temporary and expire within 5 years.
That's great.
But what is the permanent part to this law? It's the permanent tax cuts for the corporations only.
Yay.
Jobs.
And which corporations are benefiting?
Mine.
Well, one is
Your
Wells
mom.
Fargo. One of the country's
Everybody's
worst
benefiting.
paid banks, but one of the tax scam's biggest beneficiaries.
Democrats are
$4
scammers.
billion from this law. While they did announce that because of the bill, it would increase wages by $1.50 an hour.
It did.
For a total cost of $112 million. They also announced that they will spend 100 times more than that on simply buying back shares at $11.5 billion so that investors can have more profit.
What's their company?
And then there's Kimberly-Clark, the maker of brands such as Kleenex, Scott,
Yeah.
and Huggies. They're actually using the benefits of this tax scam to lay off workers and cut U.S. jobs. They have publicly stated that the savings they receive in the new tax cut law will help them pay for restructuring.
Okay.
This program includes layoffs of about 5,000 to 5,500 people, which equals 12 to 13% of the company's workforce.
It's called creative destruction, lady.
The most upsetting part of the GOP tax scam and its gifts to the wealthy is that California really pays for it. Because of the caps to the state and local tax deduction, or SALT,
It sucks.
6.1 million California families will have to pay more on their taxes.
Not me.
For over 100 years now,
I save
the
money.
SALT deduction has ensured that taxpayers wouldn't be taxed twice on their hard-earned money, first on the state and local and then on the federal. But Republicans put a cap of $10,000 on that deduction. But you know what? The average Californian deducts local taxes. Actually, they deduct about $18,438 each year. That means because of this bill, Californians lose $8,500 in deductions. And that's 6.1 million Californians that lose it.
How about lowering our taxes in the state?
Well, already, California pays more to the federal government than we receive.
We shouldn't be paying their bills.
This tax scam will ensure that we become an even greater donor state. Not only that, letting families deduct their state and local taxes makes local tax initiatives more affordable. And that's why we get positive votes that allow us to pay for better schools, better roads, and more police and fire.
And illegals.
But by capping what can be deducted now, Republicans are forcing Californians to accept either a lower standard of living or higher taxes. And it's not even like Republicans question that. They know how valuable salt is, the salt deduction, because they kept it in place for corporations. It's just us individuals, especially in California, that don't have it anymore. Well, there's so many things that we could have done to help the American people with true tax reform, such as tax credits to help employers train and hire new workers.
Illegals.
Or a tax credit for qualified apprenticeship programs.
Illegals.
Or an expansion of the American Opportunity Credit to help make college more affordable.
For illegals.
But this bill does not do any of this. The American people deserve better. They deserve help in achieving a good middle-class life and in achieving the American dream.
Not in this state.
Well, thank you for coming out today and arming yourself with knowledge about this very, very important issue. Now I would like to bring up my incredible colleague, Congressmember Lucille